Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Lodgify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Raphi, welcome back. How you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing good. Excited to be back on the pod.
Come on, look, going on holiday is great, but what's more exciting than coming back to see Sarah and I do a podcast, right?
Yeah. It was a lot of traveling though. It's good to be home and sort of back in my routine.
Remind me what it was that you were doing. I've forgotten.
So there's been a lot of traveling. So in May in France, there is so many bank holidays that we basically are never in the office. Add to that the conferences. So I was in London and then Barcelona last week. And I just, have not been working very much. But yeah, last weekend I was in Sicily and I was taking some kite surfing lessons.
Wow.
Are you any
Fun.
good?
It was a lot of fun. My second time, I started last summer, and last summer I did 5 lessons, and I basically was just given the kite and had to learn how to manage the kite for, 5 lessons straight. This time they finally gave me the board, and I was able to try and ride it, and I actually managed to ride it for 200 meters this time. So I'm really, really happy.
So cool. Have you got any videos?
No, I don't. Not yet. Not pro enough.
You're just saying that. No. I bet you do. You're just not saying it in case we share it.
I've got blooper videos from like last summer. I can share those with you. They're pretty funny. But like, I mean, when you're starting out, it's really tough. You feel like you're gonna fly away any minute, Yeah,
I love it. It's so cool though. What a nice thing to do, and it makes me feel nice and summery that people are able to go and have holidays like that in Europe without having to fly to Thailand or whatever to get some heat. Well done, you.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, you normally go on holiday once a week. Have you been anywhere?
Yeah, I know. Shockingly, I've just been at home being boring. Just getting really good use out of my air fryer. I joined a gym last week. I think a good life choice, but my body says otherwise right now. So check back in with me in a couple of weeks. But just trying to get stuck into a routine. And so it's been nice to, as Raphi said, like stop traveling a little bit and just be at home. What about you, Leo?
Why is it that joining the gym seems like a good idea and then every part of your body hurts, right? There's like
it's
me, like
a
one
good
week,
idea.
one
in
week.
6 months when I'm like ripped at the end of summer, when it doesn't even matter. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I never get past that point. I like jogging. I think I've mentioned you guys know that I get up in the morning or lunch and I go for a run. But I've always tried the gym and then I'm like, I bundle into it for 2 weeks and then everything hurts and I stop going. I think gym memberships, what is the best scam ever, right? Because you just pay for no one ever wants to cancel it because no one wants to be that person that's canceling a gym membership. But it's like months. I've not been to my gym in 6 months, but I'm still paying for it.
I'm actually going.
That's dad life for you, isn't it?
Going. Check back in with me and keep me honest. But I am going for now.
All right. I believe in you, Sarah. I just don't believe in myself. Dad life's good, guys. Late nights, all that sort of fun stuff. But I haven't really been doing a lot, actually. We've got a bank holiday here in the UK. And I'm going to the FA Cup final tomorrow to watch my beloved Manchester United play Manchester City, which is very exciting. So that's kind of on my radar. And then big news this week in the UK, and I don't know how much you'll be interested in it, guys, but they've called an election. So we've got a general election in 6 weeks.
Ooh.
That's very, very exciting. Again, I mean, it's not. What's nice about a UK election versus a US election is that you only have to deal with it taking over the TV for 6 weeks. as opposed to a US one where it seems to take
Like
over for
3 years.
2 years.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Now let's get into it, gang. We've got a few things to go through. Summer's coming, and so it would be wrong not to talk about the thing that I know everyone is so excited about, which is the Euro Football Championships, Euros 2024. Isn't that right, Raphi?
Yeah, as you've made it very clear to all our listeners in the past few episodes when I wasn't around, I love that subject.
So Raphi begged for us to do this, so we're going to do it. Here it is. It starts in mid-June in Germany. What's the STR landscape looking like, Sarah? Have you got some data for us?
Yeah, sure. So I looked at kind of 2 different cities. So I looked at where it's starting on June 14th. There's the sort of opening match, I guess you could say. I don't do sports, so forgive my language here. So June 15th, we're basically looking at double the number of nights booked on the night of June 14th compared with the week prior. So June 7th. We're looking at 2.4 thousand booked nights and an average daily rate of 124 euros a night, as compared with 1.2 thousand booked nights for the week prior. So double. ADR pretty stagnant. So 117 the week prior. So not a huge jump, 117 to 124. And I'm thinking this makes sense, right? Since it's the kickoff, it does make sense that people have already kind of reserved their spot because that's part of the excitement, right? Whereas if we go to Berlin, where the finale is being hosted on July 14th, not seeing a huge increase in nights booked. So looking at 3.6K booked nights for July 14th compared with the week prior, which is 2.7. So it's not a huge super notable increase. ADR, again, only 10 euros higher a night. So at 136 for the night of July 14th compared to July 7th, which is at 126. And I also think this makes sense, right? It's the season, it's the finale of the, you call it a finale, final match, whatever, of the
finale makes it sound more dramatic. Maybe people should call it the finale.
It's the grand finale. And so I'm thinking, you know who's in the opening matches, but you don't know who's going to get to the finale. And so I would expect that to continue to increase in terms of bookings and also nightly rates as we get closer to the finale, I guess, when we know which teams are going to be in and people are willing to pay probably whatever it is. So we'll keep an eye on it, even though we have a ban on talking about sports on this podcast. Leo, you somehow swindled us into getting into that discussion. So yeah, that's kind of the overview.
Great. I appreciate that. I'm not even going to ask Raphi for an opinion on this because I know she won't care. So, but thank you for doing that for me.
Please give yours, Leo.
Yeah, no. Well, once we get into it, right? Once we get into the tournament, then we're going to see, aren't we? Like the teams who qualify out of their group into the latter stage. There's that scrum where people are scrabbling around trying to get tickets, trying to book accommodation, internally get the train or fly to the place where your team has ended up. And there's people, fanatical fans that stay on the road for weeks. People take the whole summer off. I mean, Damien's taken the summer off work, hasn't he? He's just going to sit and watch it at home, admittedly. But people do. They take the whole summer off and they sit and watch it. So it does get quite interesting, especially if you predicted that your team would win their group, which would put them in a certain path to certain locations, and then they lose it, but they come seconds. They still qualify, but they come in a different way. You then have to pivot and maybe rebook your accommodation. So I think it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it in the moment. Humor me anyway. Let's try it.
I'll humor you, Leo. I don't know if it's interesting or not, but hopefully our listeners find it interesting.
Tell us at home if you have found that interesting, and we'll do more of it. And if you want us to stop, we will stop. And hosts in Germany, tell us about your experiences. What are you seeing? What's happening on the ground there? Because it is a really exciting time. I remember when I was a very, very young child, wasn't that young, but let's pretend I was really young. We hosted a tournament in England, 96. And it was great. The buzz was amazing. Like every town, had people coming in and staying, and people, they stay for their matches, then go and travel on somewhere else. So it is a cool thing. So yeah, any host in Germany, tell us what you're experiencing. All right, great. We've done that to death. Thanks, guys. Now, Sarah, we focused on one last week, which was the tie-in between HomeToGo and a weather insurance provider. We were a little bit I suppose, skeptical, maybe a bit confused by it. You've done a bit more research, and you've got more to say, right?
I did, yeah. So after the episode last week, Will passed me an interview that he did on Slick Talk with Nick Cavanaugh, who is the founder of Sensible Weather, and so it's a really similar startup from the U.S. You'll be shocked to learn it turns out somebody much smarter than us has actually looked into this before launching a whole business around it. So we don't get it, but I guess statistics say it works. So I just found it super interesting. This guy, Nick, basically was working at hedge funds for nearly 15 years before launching Sensible Weather. And pretty much his whole job was analyzing weather data to help hedge against risk in agriculture and other types of commodities. So there absolutely is a science behind it. If hedge funds are in it, there's money behind it, which means, and there's a lot of smart people in hedge funds. So, I mean, that's basically all I have to say, just that we were probably wrong. So I'm curious to see kind of how it pans out. I think it's a really innovative idea. I'm glad to know that somebody smart has actually thought about it and probably not going to go bust because of it. So smart move.
We got to keep an eye on it now, right? We've definitely got to keep an eye on it, haven't we? And check that that is the case. I'm actually, do you know, when I book my holiday, I'm going to also take out a policy for the time, just to see it in action, because why not, right? It always seems to rain when I'm on holiday. So I'll live it, and then we can report back.
That sounds good. Yeah, let's read some real data behind it. Anecdotal evidence.
Raphi, you weren't here last week. What do you think? Would you buy it? Do you think it sounds like a good idea?
As a traveler, I think, yeah, I would definitely want to test it out. It's not sort of going to prevent, the holiday from being a bit shitty if the weather is shitty, but at least, you get some money back. I think for a short-term rental company, it's interesting, especially so overnight work, we're quite seasonal, we rely on snow actually. So maybe it'll be interesting for, travelers who really want to make sure that they have good snow conditions when they come to the Alps. So yeah, one to look out for. I think it's a really interesting, innovative idea. So yeah.
You'll be speaking to your partnerships team now to get your own tie-in with this company.
Yeah.
Share the commission with us. We've given you the idea. Okay. Great. Okay, good stuff. Well, let's get into it. First article today from Short Term Rentals, written by Paul Stevens. Airbnb to remove experiences listings weeks after Icon's launch. Really, really interesting. Sarah, you've had a look at this one. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, Airbnb announced that it's removing sort of individual tours and experiences from the platform. What they cited in the email communication to the hosts that were participating in this program boils down to this didn't meet our standards. So when they looked at the reviews, it was kind of hit or miss, and they felt like they couldn't really quality control as they wanted to. And so they're set to remove them on June 20th. So any reservations that were made for experiences beyond that date are going to be canceled, and guests are going to get a full refund. They've given the hosts 30 days to appeal Airbnb's decision, but I can't imagine that that's going to go anywhere, even if they did. The experiences was first launched in 2016. So they've had about 8 years of kind of run rate there. And what's interesting is even though in their Q1 earnings report, they were kind of Airbnb was talking about all experiences has increased 9.5% year over year. When you look at what that means in terms of gross booking value, it's $133 million. You compare that with Airbnb's total gross booking value for Q1, which was 22.9 billion. I mean, it's a drop in the pond, right? It was still representing less than 0.6% of all of their overall gross booking value. And that's 8 years in. So I don't want to say it's a dud, but I think, in my opinion, they probably made the right decision here. I would suppose that they're still going to want to get in on some type of experiences, but my gut would tell me that they're going to try and go a little bit more professional and kind of using the launch of Icons to have more user data and hopefully do a better job of experiences. I think it's a shame for them to not get involved. So that's what's going on. It's
really interesting because it's an idea that sounds fantastic on paper, but you've just read out the stats there of how much money it's making them, and you have to say it's a swing and a miss, right? For Airbnb, but I always thought it made perfect sense for them to want to be in that arena and look at the experiences potentially. And I'm a traveler that would do this, and Sarah, you and I talked about this last week, I think, when we were talking about in a different guise loyalty points. But actually, when I book something, I then probably do want to go and book the experience separately. I don't necessarily want my OTA providing that for me. So, I guess the real winner here is the people like Mount that do experiences, that have those businesses that can step in and take those hosts who were on the Airbnb platform and bring them onto their platform, right? And then expect that traveler to go and find the experience that they were going to try and find anyway. So maybe it's a case of Airbnb sticking to their lane a bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But it did make sense, I think. I like that they tried it.
And that's my guess. I think they're going to partner with somebody who's already doing this and doing a good job. I think they're going to have to take it a little bit more professional if they're going to get a cut of the experiences side. I agree. It would be silly for them to not try and get involved. I think it's a logical step for them. But the way they were going about it, kind of with individual hosts, I think wasn't sustainable.
And Raphi, what do you think?
Yeah. So for me, I do wonder if they gave it enough time, because there was definitely the COVID period in between, which definitely, made it not work out for a few years. And then, maybe there wasn't enough time after that for that to pick back up. I personally definitely was using it. I thought it was great, even probably more for like from an inspiration point of view, to kind of see what's out there, what we can do in a given location. But I have also booked experiences through Airbnb, which have been really, really great. So I personally feel like it's a bit of a shame. I did also feel like it was super on brand and it made a lot of sense, like you say, Leo. But I understand that it has to be professional, it has to be scalable, and it has to make sense from a profit point of view. So yeah, well, let's see what the icons. I think the icons idea is great and it's really, really fun. But from a profit point of view, I'm not really sure. I don't get that. Like, how is that going to work for Airbnb? I'm not sure.
Well, I think the key to the icons section is that to sign up for icons, you have to provide lots more information about yourself and what your preferences are. And, it's a smart move from Airbnb, right? To gather more data about their users, especially with, I'm sure they're working on their own AI, search icon and search feature, and also way of tailoring suggestions to people. So that's what I noticed when I went to, because last night I thought, well, let's have a look at it. And it was saying I could wake up in a museum in Paris ahead of the Olympics, and I said, oh, that sounds good. And then the amount of data they wanted to know about me, I thought, well, actually, I don't know. I think I'll walk away actually at this point. But so there might be something like that at play. It's on brand, but potentially not a revenue driver then, which makes a lot of sense. Do you, with your operator hat on, Raphi, is this something that you offer, or ad hoc? Do you have someone in your team who kind of upsell services to people? How do you guys manage that, and what do you find the uptake is?
So we'll upsell on services that we're able to upsell across all the different resorts in our portfolio. Just for operational efficiencies, it doesn't make any sense for us to go into each resort and create little partnerships with each local businesses. We let the operational property managers do that on site, but we'll upsell things like ski rental, ski lessons, cycling rentals, because we know that there are operators out there that operate on that across all of the resorts for those things.
Interesting, isn't it? And you find that there's good uptake
for the ski. Yeah, for the ski, definitely. The cycling, not yet, but that's something we're trying to work on it, because cycling is a really, really big thing in France. There's a huge amount of cycling tourism going on, so we're trying to tap into that, but that's quite new for us.
Oh, you just got me thinking. I could sneak out a day on the bike, couldn't I? When I come to Annecy with the family.
Yeah, it's a great place to cycle.
Yeah. I had a test. I've done it.
You've done the cycling there, have you?
I have, although electric bike, because who can be asked to actually pedal? It was, believe it or not, actually difficult. Quite a few hills, you'd think, for a lake, but it was really lovely. Spent the whole day cycling around the lake and had a nice lunch somewhere, overpriced, of course, and when it was really sunny. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
So people are doing these experiences. We're just not sure they want them from Airbnb, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously moving into the icons area, it's more of I think the optics on it are fantastic. But Sarah, you mentioned, I don't know if you want to go a bit further into that, the idea that potentially they'd partner with professional operators to provide this service. That's your feeling?
I mean, it's my personal opinion, right? So I don't have any data to back up my opinion in this particular instance. But yeah, I mean, that's the way that I think they're going to have to go, because if the main reason they cited for not continuing the experiences program, aside from the revenue, which they didn't mention, but I think it's worth mentioning, if the main reason was the quality control and it not being up to their standards, the only way they're going to be able to do that is to do it through a company. And so I think it would be much more difficult for them to try and do that on their own, rather than just partnering with somebody who's already doing it and doing a great job. I would agree, though, that it kind of is a little bit less on brand, right? The whole point of kind of Airbnb is this guise that, it's an individual host and it's their local backyard, and this is the experience that they would do with their family or whatever. But I think we all know, like, when you come to Barcelona and you take a paella making class and sangria, like, nobody does that, actually. Like, maybe paella, but like locals don't do that, So it's a little bit, it's definitely touristy. So if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right, I guess.
Yeah, lean in. Don't pretend it's authentic if it's not.
Exactly.
You've shattered the illusion there for me, Sarah. You've really shattered it. I thought that's what you did every Friday.
So sorry, Leo. Yeah, actually, I think the last time I had sangria was like 3 years ago when my parents were visiting, because that's what they think is a thing.
Wow. I didn't even have sangria once when I was in Barcelona last week.
Yeah,
Crazy.
You did it right. It's more of like a wine and beer culture. Yeah.
Or what is it? The vermouth. But I haven't done that either, but that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely should have done that. It's about the only thing that wasn't drunk, actually, for us that week. Okay. So interesting. Okay, cool. We'll keep an eye on this one, because clearly, like, change is afoot here, Airbnb, and I wonder if it is part of this move towards AI and learning more about their users. I guess we will find out. Lovely. Okay. Now, we've tried to avoid talking about AI as much as possible on the pod, just because there's lots more to discuss, but we couldn't avoid it. And we've got Raphi back with us, and Sarah and I have also got questions for Raphi around SEO and AI, which we're going to get into too. So we'll start with this article, another short-term rentals article from Paul Stevens, HomeToGo to roll out fresh AI innovations. Raphi, tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so HomeToGo is tapping into AI in several different ways. So they've already got something rolled out, which is enhancing their property search function. So they call this AI mode, which is essentially using historical data, personal preferences based on user interactions on the website to provide much more relevant results when it comes to homes and just, home rental results. So now what they're doing is they're developing something called AI Sunny, which is going to go a step further. And it's essentially an AI-powered travel assistant, enabling guests to ask and receive instant support for simple and complex booking-related questions in a written format. So these are two, this is currently in beta mode, but these are the two tools that they have that are currently being worked on. And then in a long-term goal, they're going to be combining both of those tools into something way more powerful, which will be a super AI Sunny, which is essentially going to help with travel planning from search to booking all the way through to post-booking support. So HomeToGo is really, really pushing the innovations in the AI space in our industry, which is great. It's great to see that this is happening in our industry, and I think it's really going to set a high bar for all of us and push us all to innovate as well. They're tapping into a very clear demand from travelers. Travelers are apparently, according to this article, 61% of US travelers consider conversational AI to help with travel support, and then 72% say that they would use AI to find the perfect accommodation. So there's definitely a demand here that they're tapping into. And the whole point here is just to make the whole trip planning easier for travelers. As we know, trip planning can be a bit of a hassle, can take a lot of time. So this is, I think, what they're trying to tap into. Their limitation is that they only offer accommodation. They don't offer all the other things that are involved in trip planning. But I'm definitely keen to see how this works out for them. From a marketing perspective, I think this is really interesting because obviously they're going to gain a lot of deep insights in regards to their users. and it will definitely improve the conversion rates on their website as well. My only one concern, I think, in all of this would be how reliable are the AI generated recommendations, and also how accurate are they? So I guess we'll see. What are your opinions?
Yeah, I think for me that's my same. I have the same concern, Raphi. Like, I think it gets into kind of the gatekeeper scenario that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Like, if HomeToGo is the one then controlling more or less if your property is recommended or not, and the bookings that you're getting, how do they determine that? Is it fair? What is it based on? How's it being done? I think they're going to need a lot of transparency in how those suggestions are coming about, in order for not only for the host and the owners of those properties to trust them, but also for the end users.
I wonder if it's so interesting. I'm not an expert in this. This is why I'm so pleased I get to ask you these questions, Raphi. But I wonder, to where my mind goes with this, that we'll get to a point, open question, will we get to a point where people are just on Google Gemini or ChatGPT and getting their recommendations there, and that's how they book their holiday? Because that then includes, restaurant recommendations. It can kind of become your everything scroll, can't it, for your whole entire trip? So I think it's a really smart move from HomeToGo, because they want to get ahead of that and be seen as the travel assistant, and that's clearly part of their business model. But yeah, I wonder, I think you said this as well, Raphi, but if you're going all the way to booking your accommodation, you probably want to find out if there's good restaurants nearby, or a nightclub if you're still young enough and wild enough to enjoy something like that. Oh my God, I would love that. Or if there's a nanny service nearby, which is my reality, right? Like, I kind of feel like you probably want to do it all on the same stream, which is why I'm so interested in from an SEO perspective, what it means, whether it's still actually controlled. It's still controlled by Google, right? Or whoever, and then everyone has to try and make sure that they fit around that algorithm to show up as high as they can in the search terms. So say I search ski chalet in the Alps with 4 bedrooms, a hot tub, available in December, kid friendly. Like, OVO network obviously need to pop up, right, in that chat GPT icon. I don't know. I'm probably bleeding into your territory, Raphi, but what do you think?
I think, well, it's a very good point. I think that the more we use tools like ChatGPT, the more we're going to expect to just get the answer we're looking for in one go and not have to click around the internet. And yeah, this definitely leads into the next topic, which is that Google is providing a ChatGPT-like service on its search results. It's not out yet, of course, but it will be coming. And yeah, it's definitely something that we're moving towards. I think that the more we use these tools, the less patience we have also to spend so much time completing these tasks. And like I said, I mean, planning a trip just takes so much time and so much research, and how much patience are we going to have in the future for that kind of thing? So if you want, I can move on to the next topic about Google. Pretty big one.
I feel like it goes in. I feel like it does lead in, just because I see HomeToGo's trying to create that environment themselves, right?
Yeah.
Again, yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So Google is developing an AI generative search tool, which is definitely going to change the future of search. So the search results on Google are going to provide a single unified answer, just like ChatGPT. So for those of you who are already using ChatGPT, it's going to be very similar. And website results, which we currently get in search results, are going to now be found on the second page onwards. So AI can tailor search results based on user behavior and preferences. So the results will be highly personalized. And this is ultimately going to lead to a decrease in traffic, especially to informational pages. I'm not really sure how much that's going to impact transactional pages. I think that, for now, definitely transactional pages will still have their importance. But informational pages are going to be highly, highly impacted in terms of traffic, because all of that information will be found on the first page of Google, and users will not need to click through to a website to find their answers anymore. Metrics such as time spent on site, engagement rates, and user interactions are going to be more and more important when it comes to looking at data in regards to our informational pages. So there are a lot of recommendations here that I'll be able to get into, but ultimately, I think there's a lot of questions around sort of the future of SEO. Is SEO dead? And the reality is that actually, as long as there are humans in the world and those humans are searching for something, SEO will never be dead. So SEO is definitely here to stick around, which is the good news. But yeah, a lot of changes that we need to be taking seriously, and we need to be adapting to them. So this is mainly for property management companies who are looking to get direct bookings and investing in direct bookings. If you are providing a lot of informational content to capture traffic onto your website, there are a lot of things that you're going to have to be adapting to and taking into consideration. So I'm going to get into a couple recommendations here, and then we'll see where we go. First of all, the biggest thing is to really invest in expertise. So the content that you're going to create is going to need to be highly, highly unique and highly valuable. And the best way you can do that is by using an expert for the topic that you're writing about. All of these recommendations, by the way, are to increase your chances of appearing in the sources that are used from the first page of Google search results. You're going to need to provide unique perspectives. So things like case studies, original research, unique insights are going to be increasing in value when it comes to informational content. You're going to want to capitalize on engagement and interaction. So you can use things like quizzes, interactive infographics, engaging content to ensure that you're increasing the engagement and time on site. Visual and multimedia content is increasing in importance simply because now AI can actually read those pieces of content, whereas before, Google could only read text. Now AI can really read all visual content as well. So hugely important to invest in high quality images, produce videos, work on podcasts, be on TV, all of those things. Every piece of content out there is going to be super important for you to have that visibility that you're looking for. Then in terms of content optimization, you're going to be wanting to use AI tools to optimize the content you're producing. So capitalize on AI to really optimize what you're producing for AI. There are a lot of different use cases that you can do. You can get really creative here, but definitely don't miss that step. Then there are predictive and analytic tools that can help you sort of find out what are the upcoming trends so that you can ensure that your content is super relevant and timely. And finally, backlinks. Backlinks have always been super important, but they essentially are really going to help you make sure that your website is considered authoritative by Google. So just try to get as many backlinks to your content and to your website as possible. That's just as important as it always was. But ultimately, the goal is the same. So in terms of like the overall objective of the content you're producing, nothing has changed. You want to just make sure that it's unique and super valuable, and just try to provide the best answer you can and gain a bunch of backlinks. So those are my main recommendations here. Yeah.
I'll go first, Sarah. I'm sure you've got questions as well. So far from SEO being dead, you've just a whole can of worms has been opened, and you've just got a lot more work to do suddenly, right? You've all got to learn the new rules of the game. Are you already seeing its impact, or are we still ahead of the curve now? Is it like where do you need to be now as an operator?
I think I've heard a lot of websites have definitely seen the impact. They're already seeing a big drop in traffic. From our perspective, we haven't, which thank God, because this is all happening really fast. Our traffic is still increasing on our blog, so great, but I'm definitely trying to prepare for it. We're trying to pivot internally in terms of how we produce the content and how we go about it, because there's definitely, I think we were maybe placing too much importance on providing or on publishing, a lot of content per month just regularly. And now I want to maybe stop that and really, really focus on the quality over anything. And even if that means you're producing maybe 2 blog posts per month, as long as you know that those blog posts are providing a huge amount of quality and that they are unique, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, and tie in with, I think you mentioned it here, other people, right, who have a good following, I suppose. Because if we're also pulling in the visual, the video content, right? If you get someone who's in the travel space to do a feature on a region that you work in, you can pull that back to your properties and your website. That's kind of what you're saying there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the whole thing goes back to trust. How much do we trust Google? I think when you're talking about something that is super objective. So, what year was so and so born, or what was the result of? Oh, even results of world wars and things. I guess the winner always tells the history, right? But when you're talking about something subjective, like which property should I stay in, or which activities should I do, or which operator should I go with? Oh, I don't know. How much do we trust AI? Like, is it all just based on the content? Like, what's going into that? And is it fair? And I mean, life doesn't have to be fair, I guess, but
Or is it authentic? Is it,
yeah.
Is that a 5-star restaurant, or is it someone's played the algorithm so that it's just the one that you get served, right? It's authenticity, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. For me, it's all about trust. So I think it's super, super interesting. Raphi opens a huge can of worms too, of like, okay, if AI is now analyzing videos and speech and images, under what criteria? And also, like, how much does it know about me? Is it looking at the type of content that I post on social media, or to then make me a personalized recommendation for example, where I should stay based on my past experiences, or based on the reviews maybe that I've left for different properties and what I liked and didn't like about each one of them? If so, I think it could be really interesting, but it's still, how much do I trust them?
Yeah, there are a lot of ethical questions around all of this. And it's interesting. I saw in the news recently, I think it was 3 days ago, there's an OpenAI executive that resigned from OpenAI because he was saying that they're just not prioritizing safety of the developments around AI over the products. They're actually just trying to get, the best new shiny product out there as soon as possible, and not taking the time to really consider the safety factors. And there's so many factors. It can be, security, confidentiality, societal impacts. I mean, all of these things really need to be considered. And actually, I feel like all of this is happening just a bit too fast, and those aren't being taken seriously. So when it comes to the search results that we're going to be getting, well, we don't really know what's influencing those search results. There's no transparency behind that. Should we trust it? I mean, yeah, it's a huge question. But at the end of the day, it's all coming anyway. I mean, Google's developing it anyway, so we have to adapt. And now it's up to the user to decide how they're going to use it.
Yeah. If you're giving one piece of advice to an operator who had a direct booking website, apart from having listings and advertising those listings, what would you do? Is it your blog? Is it video? Where would you start?
I mean, this is really personal. I'm not sure this is something that you should just take, but I feel like the written content is kind of going to lose popularity. I just feel like we're becoming more and more lazy as humans, but also because of all these developments, they're just making things too easy for us. And are we going to have the patience to read, all these long articles in the future? I'm not sure. I feel like people are going to turn to video, podcasts, some of the more engaging types of content more and more. And maybe the blog posts and the written content is going to be left behind. But yeah, this is really just a personal thing. No idea.
Yeah, interesting. Well, look, I think we're out of time. We've got to let Raphi go and learn more about AI, because it's a big job. There's a lot to do, so we better let you go. It's been wonderful hanging out with you guys today. At home, the audience, if you've enjoyed listening to us ramble on all these topics, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow in all the usual social places. Until next time, thanks, guys.
Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Logify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts, Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.